Thank you. In terms of mandatory vaccines, vaccines won't be mandatory. That's not the way we do things in Canada. Mandatory vaccines won't be mandatory. That's not the way we do things in Canada.
Where we can be free and no man owns the fish.
Consciously aware that there was an inappropriate link to your family that would put you in a conflict. Why did you, at that moment, not call the ethics commissioner and recuse yourself? I'm going to ask you again, because nobody believes you. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared, but I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
My mother
how much?
has
just the dollar figure
throughout her life.
The dollar figure, Prime Minister.
Various ways, and is
how much
of the work that she's done, and I'm proud of her.
How much? Well. I'm looking for a dollar figure.
We can get that number for you if you like. It's been out in the media.
It's been in the media, but you don't know it?
I don't have it in front of me. And quite
you don't
frankly,
know how much your family has received from this organization, which you tried to give $500 million, really?
Can I answer, Mr. Polyev?
I'm waiting. You haven't done an answer so far. Let's make this the first one.
My mother has worked as an advocate.
The dollar figure, Prime Minister.
Speaker for
how much?
Many good organizations across the country.
Mr. Prime Minister, you are being asked a direct question at a parliamentary committee.
90 years of diplomatic relations between Canada and China.
The tremendous friendship that we celebrate every day between Canada and China.
Justin Trudeau is one of the more obnoxious, sycophantic, ridiculous, idiotic teenage girls in a boy's body that I've ever seen. I mean, it's insane.
He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. No, they're not.
That was not
right. He said, but they take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms of a leader as a country. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, tolerate them? Now you do sound like him. And recently he talked about them holding unacceptable views.
I'm surprised to hear that Trudeau said those things.
You didn't see the blackface? I mean, no, I'm kidding. I'm not. I mean, that was not a good look for him. But I mean, come on. I mean, that's I think what gets under people's skin.
How is the government paying the $7 billion bill associated with this proposal?
That question is directed to who, Mr. Polyev?
Anyone wants to answer? If they have anyone over there that is concerned about where the money comes from, that person could speak up.
Maybe you could choose one of the witnesses.
I don't know who on their side is responsible for this, but clearly they're getting the money from somewhere, so they must know where.
I'm afraid I won't be able to answer directly the honourable member's question because we're here to discuss it. And what I can say with regards to the cost of the measures in terms of Part 1, the three first programs that I mentioned, the hospitality, the tourism and hospitality recovery program, Hard Hit Businesses Recovery Program, and the local lockdown program have a cost of $3.2 billion.
Today, Junior?
Sorry, Mr. Baylor, where's the money coming from?
Well, Mr. Chair, that is within the government's broader macro economic framework, and I'm not I can't speak to that.
So you don't have anyone. It's just that we're being asked to vote in favor of another $7 billion of spending. And the obvious question is, where's it coming from?
I appreciate the question, but I can't answer that question.
Well, somebody's paying for it. Who is it? Did the Tooth Fairy? No answer.
Are here respectfully to answer questions to C2 as we study.
Right, C2 has a $7 billion bill. That's the price tag. Right, that's what I'm asking about. Where's the $7 billion coming from? Like, there's a lot of people willing to talk about how they're spending the money, but no one wants to talk about where it comes from. How many witnesses do we have here? We have the number? Mr. Chair?
10? Is it 10?
10 witnesses? 10 witnesses to tell us about how to spend money, but not a single one to tell us where the money comes from. Anyone, Mr. Chair, can you help us?
Mr. Polyev, the floor is yours to ask your questions.
Well, I've asked the same question 5 or 6 times. No one seems to be able to answer it. I'm just worried that the answer is not one my constituents are going to want to hear. Because right now, I have 30-year-olds living in their parents' basement because housing inflation has priced them out of the market. I have single moms in my neighborhoods that can't afford a healthy basket of groceries to feed their kids. I have seniors whose savings are being vaporized by inflation. And now we have the prospect that deficits are going to drive up interest rates. So you can forgive me if my focus today is not on all the wonderful things the government's spending money on, but instead on where the money comes from. Because so far, all the money seems to be coming out of the pocket of the working class folks
Point of
who
order,
are paying
Mr. Chair.
record inflation.
Mr. Polyev?
I have a strictly technical question. That is, where's the money coming from? $7 billion cost. The money must be coming from somewhere. Like, is there a money tree? Is there a printing press?
Point of order,
That's
Mr.
the
Chair.
technical question I'm asking. I appreciate the liberals across the way don't want it answered.
You've sold us out to globalism.
Okay.
You are not working for Canada. You are working for your globalist partners. I wonder how much they're paying you to betray Canada. What do we do with traitors in Canada, Mr. Trudeau? We used to hang them for treason. And you're doing that very same thing to us now. We know what you're doing.
Justin Pierre James Trudeau and all those employed in the administration, joint and several, have lost the moral authority to govern the people due to repeated usurpations and violations of the Bill of Rights and our constitutions. You have deceived us and lied to us by omission, unjustly enriched yourself and those individuals serving you, and you, jointly and several, have willfully brought mixed war and treason upon the people living here. You have failed to address our grievances. So be it therefore resolved, your representation of us, jointly and several, is refused for cause, your ministerial duties stripped, and your charter revoked.